It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment right. It's time to get locked and loaded with Gun Sports Radio. Your hosts, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey, will teach you everything there is to know about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your American right to own and bear arms. Now, here's your host, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks, welcome to Gun Sports Radio. Don't forget to visit our website at www.gunsportsradio.com and Facebook. Just go to Gun Sports Radio. Got questions, concerns, you name it, we'll chat about it. This segment is brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. They're open 7 days a week, 10 to 10. Go to thegunrangesandiego.com for all of the features and benefits they have. I'm telling you, once you go there, you'll go nowhere else. They are truly the Nordstroms of gun ranges, just not the price. First-time shooter, they love you. You're a pro, they love you even more. It doesn't make any difference. They treat everybody equal, and they will give you the training you need to be confident with handling a pistol or a rifle or even a shotgun. So check them out, The Gun Range San Diego. How you doing, Mr. L?
I'm doing terrific. On a summer day, I went into the Gun Range San Diego and was shooting shotgun there in the afternoon.
Did you?
It's wonderful.
Nothing better than that. How about you, Mr. Schwartz?
Awesome. Couldn't be better.
Where's the brewski or the what do you other little sausages?
The Brodsky, the Newskis.
Where are the Newskis?
Yeah.
I sent you a photo intentionally to show you I was close.
I know. They're so good.
So good.
Yeah. I have my private
When's
stash,
your birthday coming up?
Not till the winter. So
somebody in the family
start loading up now.
Yeah, start loading up now. Hey, so I guess you got to...
We do. We have an important announcement for tomorrow before we get to our guest.
Okay, that's real important.
Yep. San Diego, the city of San Diego, the San Diego City Council tomorrow at 2 o'clock is going to vote on a regulation that will force every gun owner in the city of San Diego to have to store their firearm locked or inoperable or in a safe. So we need everybody who's listening to this to show up tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks. So hopefully everybody that you've marked your calendar, you took the day off of work or the afternoon off of work. If not, it is not too late. We need everybody to show up before 2 o'clock. We're going to have San Diego County gun owner staff there helping people to fill out their speaker slip. You're going to have a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and we just need you to come down and say, hey, I'm opposed, and then talk about why. Talk about who you are, why you're a gun owner, that sort of thing. But it's crucial that you come down and that we overwhelm them and get as many people in there as you possibly can. That's tomorrow.
Perfect. 2
p.m., San Diego City Hall, which is 202 C Street, downtown San Diego. For more information, go to our Facebook page or San Diego County Gun Owners.com.
What about parking? Do you know of any places around there so people...
A lot of different parking. They have... The City Hall has its own parking, but then there's also Horton Plaza, which is just maybe 2 blocks away.
Okay.
So you can park in Horton Plaza.
Yeah.
But you may want to consider taking the trolley. Trolley has a town center stop right on C Street. That's probably the easiest way to go.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's a big meeting, though. That's why we're organized.
Extremely
to be
important.
down there.
You going to be there?
I'm going to be there.
We're all going to be there.
I'm going to be there. Absolutely.
Maybe if I'm away, I'm switching cars. Hannah's coming.
Yeah.
I'm switching cars, so if I get it done enough, I'll come down and I'll
That'd be great.
at the office.
Everybody
Ride
should
down
be there.
together.
This is what we're organized for.
This is what it's all about.
Yeah, I want to ride in the tank.
All right, switching topics. We have a really interesting guest today. His name's Doug Sain. He's a producer and executive producer on the second highest grossing domestic box office political documentary movie ever, which was 2016 Obama's America. It was released in over 2,000 theaters nationwide back in the summer of 2012. Producer and executive producer of the political documentary movie titled Clinton Inc., which was released in theaters during the fall of 2016 and now available on all major streaming services. Doug, are you there?
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. Thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Beautiful day in San Diego.
So we're having Doug on to talk about Hollywood and gun ownership and the way that they portray guns and what it's like to be pro Second Amendment in the in Hollywood. So let's just start there. I mean, you're a not that the Second Amendment is strictly for conservatives, But you're the two movies that you were executive producer on were conservative movies, and I know personally that you're extremely pro Second Amendment. So what's it like being in the Hollywood environment, being pro Second Amendment?
Well, in the Hollywood environment, most of that is, of course, up in Los Angeles, although you also have places like New York, but there's other places as well. Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, all have pretty active film programs there. So it's a little bit scattered, but in Hollywood and New York especially, it's very liberal. It's very anti-Second Amendment, although I think when you get into a real discussion with anyone about it, they don't really have a very clear understanding of what that entails. So usually you can win an argument pretty quickly, but nonetheless, there's a real anguish towards guns.
Right, and there is, but then you look at the movies that are being produced and the movies that are popular, it doesn't appear that the movies they make are anti-gun or anti-Second Amendment.
No, actually, it's quite the reverse. If you look at, as example, I went in and looked at the top 20 movies of this year, and 10 of those 20 are all very, would be considered, pro-Second Amendment, because these are, unique individuals who are, making a self-sacrifice, using guns or using their special powers to defend others against evil. And they're not waiting around for the cops or someone else to come zooming in and help out. They're out, taking on evil directly themselves. And, it would be laughable if the bad guys came in with, pea shooters. No, in just about every movie, they got fully automatic weapons. And, we know that's illegal right now, but, even semi-automatic seems to be laughed off the stage when it comes to the movie world.
Well, and it is. We just saw, I guess it's been out, it's a couple years ago now, but John Krasinski was in a movie, kind of a horror sci-fi flick a couple years ago called A Quiet Place. Are you familiar with A Quiet Place? Did you see that movie?
I didn't see it, but I'm familiar with the movie.
So basically, there was like an alien. There was an alien invasion, and they were hiding from these aliens and everything. And at the end of the movie, they basically, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but
close your ears.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, they use a gun and start killing the aliens. And I walked out of that movie going, "Well, that was just about the most pro-gun movie I think I've ever seen."
Yeah, you'd be very hard-pressed to name a movie where the protagonist doesn't take action into their own hands to try and save those around them and themselves from evil, and instead waited it out for the cops to arrive. It almost never happens in a movie, and so as I said, it's almost a trope in the sense that we always expect the protagonist to defend others and to take up arms.
So what do you think the disconnect is? So they're against the Second Amendment, they're against gun ownership, but then a huge percentage of movies not only basically star firearms, but they really portray the need for being able to defend yourself and how useful self-defense is. What's the disconnect? Where's the problem?
Well, I can't really say, obviously they're trying to beholden to their kind of political cause, because it was a sense back in the, 60s and 70s of the Democrat Party kind of being this rebellion against the studio bosses. And so it may have come out of that, which was this kind of independent, easy rider. A lot of movies back in the 60s, 70s were for the first time really being made as independents out of the studios. And so I think they kind of dovetailed that into a political cause. And it's lingered ever since without any real, strength or justification in terms of the arguments, other than, they're very sentimental, they're very feeling, these are very emotional type people, and reasoning isn't really, their dogma for how to, make sense of the world.
Interesting. And I want to talk more about the political side, maybe even touch on some political hypocrisy. But before we go into a break, we're gonna hold you over to the break and go into the next segment. What would you say if you had to say, one of or the most pro Second Amendment movies? What's an example of a pro Second Amendment or pro gun movie?
Well, I could, look at John Wick, look at any of the Marvel movies. I mean, those are all, again, people taking up arms for self-defense to conquer evil. A classic that I go back to, I love, is Clint Eastwood's 1993 movie, Unforgiven.
Yeah.
And this is where he Best Academy Award-winning movie, Best Academy Award-winning director. He even was nominated for Best Actor. And this is in a Western movie, he goes into a town where it's gun-free. There's no guns allowed. And who's taking up arms and abusing their power? The sheriff of the town. And it's quintessential attack on the Second Amendment.
That's right.
Or what the reverse would be if we lived in that world where the Second Amendment didn't exist.
Okay, we're going to go to a break and come back, but that's an excellent point. I really appreciate it. And I want to talk more again about the political hypocrisy that we started in on.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. Folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. We are The Answer. Hey, folks, you heard us tell you how easy to install a Cali key is, and how it makes all your AR rifles California legal in recognition of the recent gun law changes. Those law changes can put the unknowing owner of an AR-15 or AR-10 on the wrong side of a jail door. If you want your AR to keep its pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Cali Key is a cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your ARs from all those horrible new California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford. Remember, Cali Key. Go to www.calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Also, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapons for personal protection? Do you have or are you going to get a CCW? Well, if you're involved in an incident, what is your plan to pay for bail and the expensive lawyer costs? Talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection. Go to firearmslegalprotection.com. And for less than $10 a month, you'll have peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your family. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com, or you can call them at 469-310-9100. That's 469-310-9100. Tell them you heard it right here on KCBQ. Last but not least, if you need a lawyer, boy, I tell you, Gasky, Dillon, and Balance LLP, especially if you're involved in a situation with a firearm, John Dillon is the expert. He'd go to cafirearmslaw.com, cafirearmslaw.com, give you all the help you could handle, or you can call him at 760-431-9501. John's a gun owner, he's a hunter, and he's a big, big supporter of the San Diego County gun owners. All right, so we kept our guests over.
Yep, we're talking with Doug Sain, who's he's executive producer of one of the most successful documentaries in Hollywood history, and we're talking about firearms in the movies. Doug, do you remember the movie Red Dawn was the first PG-13 rated movie? This is a little point that I think gets by a lot of people. So the Russians and the Cubans invaded. And one of the first things that the Russian and Cuban leader said was, he said, hey, go to the sports stores, the firearms stores, and look at the Form 4473, and that's how you can tell who owns guns, and then collect all the guns so they can't fight back. That gets by a lot of people, that they actually said that. And that form, obviously, is the transaction form that makes you, when you have to buy a gun, they make you follow a certain form. But the director of Red Dawn is a guy named John Milius, who was also on the board of directors for NRA.
Yeah, John Milius is an amazing writer-director. Apocalypse Now, Big Wednesday is, surfer movie, but great writer-director, all kinds of movies. And, Red Dawn is certainly a classic in that sense. I can think of, I think it would be more it would be more rare to find a movie that didn't have the protagonist taking up arms and defending themselves. I mean, there are so many countless movies. I mean, from John Wick, even like last year we had Halloween, where what's her name?
Jamie Curtis.
Jamie Curtis takes up arms to defend herself against evil. I mean, it's over and over again in the movies, and that's really where it gets into the hypocrisy, because even when Jamie Curtis was interviewed about her the woman standing up, being able to fight this monster because she had guns,
right?
She had to admit that their Second Amendment is critical. And so that hypocrisy is pretty rife in Hollywood, where we see, even myself, when I was doing my movie back in 2012, I needed to go down into Mexico, just south of the border, and to be safe at that time with the amount of violence going on, I needed to have a bodyguard with a gun.
Wow.
And the same is true with much more famous celebrities who have bodyguards with them who carry weapons. They certainly when they're having a big event like the Academy Awards, and they have police officers, FBI agents, firefighters surrounding all of them to provide them that level of protection, so they can go on stage and say, hey, we need to get rid of guns. First Amendment right and Second Amendment right.
It's interesting. And, obviously there's a time, even, the last Republican governor of California, Schwarzenegger, so it's not really a party issue. It's really more of a philosophical issue. Schwarzenegger signed in some horribly anti-gun laws, despite the fact that, I mean, it's pretty clear that Arnold Schwarzenegger, every one of his movies features some kind of firearm that he's using to save the day.
Sure. Even after he was governor, he did a movie called The Last Stand. What's it about? It's about a retired officer who's fighting against, drug cartels coming across the border, and he's taking up a fully automatic weapon in order to defend himself and his town.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, the hypocrisy goes on in that sense. You just couldn't find. It is such the norm to take up arms and defend yourself in movies that it is the rarity. I have a harder time just trying to find a movie where they sat passively and waited for the cops to come.
Waited for the cops, yeah. Mm-hmm. What was the Jennifer Lopez movie where it was called? I think it was called Enough. Where she was a battered woman and finally had said, all right, that's enough. Law enforcement's not helping me. A restraining order is just a piece of paper. And, it's the same story over and over and over again.
Look at the movie Taken with Liam Neeson, which became this huge box office success with, 3 movies following it. It was about, a father who, he's specially trained from his past, but, he takes up guns because the police aren't doing enough to get his daughter out of human trafficking.
Okay, so give me. Let's do a top 10 list. Top 10 guns in movies today. Let's start with number 10. Top 10 guns in movie history. Number 10. What would you say?
Well, number 10. I think you'd have to. Sometimes I don't know if you should. The most obvious should probably be number 10, because the way they did this, the list that I found, thanks to Ballistic Magazine, was. I would reverse the order. So I would say the one that we all know is Dirty Harry's Magnum 44.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's the most iconic gun of all time in a movie, and obviously he did, 5 or 6 of those movies.
Yeah. All right. Number 2. What are we doing? We're doing count
number 9.
We'll just go from 1 down to 10.
Okay.
And because I think 10 is probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. All right. So next one is.
So the next one is, it's an MAC-10 with a rocket launcher in a guitar case from the movie Desperado.
Desperado, classic.
So I don't know if you. Great movie, classic. Shoot 'em up, and he's got the fully automatic weapon in his guitar case. So it's and the rocket launcher.
And number 7, this is appropriate that it's number 7. Number 7 is a iconic one. Number 7 would be
007's Walther PPK. Everyone knows that one.
Yeah. Yep. Often copied, but never exceeded. Okay, so number 6.
Number 6. Well, we're jumping down a little bit. We go to the movie Predator. Now, this is pretty funny because you got an M134 minigun. Usually that's loaded onto the side of a helicopter, and we've seen that in dozens of movies. I mean, from Terminator to you name it, there's always a helicopter with with these high-powered, rapid shooting, miniguns on it. I thought the funny part about this one was in the movie you got Governor Jesse Ventura running around carrying the minigun in addition to all the ammunition.
Now, there's a guy who's not politically hypocritical. That guy's as pro-gun as the day is long, and actually held office and fought for and expanded rights when it comes to the Second Amendment was Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura.
Yep. And, kudos to him and, kind of a frown on Arnold Schwarzenegger. I thought the interesting thing in that movie was that the director actually had to have them slow the gun down from 6,000 rounds per minute to 1,250 rounds per minute.
Wow.
Anyway.
When I was a kid, I don't know if you remember the American Indian that was in that movie, a guy named Billy, who also ran for office. I can't remember if he actually held office, but he ran for office. The actor that played Billy, but he had an M16 with a shotgun. It was a Remington 870 attached underneath the M16. And when I was a kid, that was the dream, man. Having an AR style rifle with a shotgun underneath the barrel. Oh my gosh, I wanted that so bad. To this day, though, in California, you're not allowed to own that.
Yeah, not gonna.
I looked into it. About every year I look into it again, but
it's not going to happen in California. That's for sure.
So, okay. So what? I forget. What are we at? Number five. Okay,
you only got a minute.
Got a minute. Let's skip down to the most surprising.
Oh, okay.
So this is basically the number one best gun featured in a movie of all time. So drum roll. There you go. What is the list?
Okay. So the movie is Star Wars, and the gun is held by Han Solo. And actually in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker has the gun. And the gun it's a pistol, and it's a Mauser C96, actually of invention by the German Nazis. And it goes further back, but it was a German handgun. And but the interesting thing was that Winston Churchill actually preferred that gun over the British Wembley revolver.
Interesting.
When he served in World War I.
And what was the nickname? It was called the broomstick or the broom handle gun or something like that, or I forget.
Is this Sam the gunman's uncle?
I know. No, I know.
Is this Sam the gunman's uncle? It's got to be.
We have a 19-year-old. He's actually my nephew.
Oh my God.
Doug, who he's call him Sam the gunman. We have a segment at the end of the radio show called "Stump My Nephew." 19-year-old. You ask him anything about guns, gun history, gun products, and he's got an answer.
He's only missed like two
or three in
the last 40 shows.
Yeah, it's amazing. So,
and he's so articulate. He'll sit there and he'll think about, well, it seems like this is a little on the confused, and then he'll rattle all this stuff and he'll be dead on the money. It's just an amazing kid.
Well, Doug, thank you so much for calling in and being our guest. That was fascinating.
How can people find this movie? Can they still find it?
Oh yeah, both movies. Clinton Inc. especially you can find on Apple's iTunes, Amazon. Microsoft, any major streaming platform, both movies are on there.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, thanks a million for calling in. I got a sneaky feeling that Mike will be chasing you around and having you call in the future.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to have Doug back. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
I would love that. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. Yes. All right, folks, welcome back to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. Hey, folks, you heard us always talk about how easy it is to install a Cali key. Well, this is how you can make your AR rifle California legal in recognition of the recent laws. Those law changes could put you on the wrong side of a jail door, let me tell you. AR-15s, AR-10s, they could all be done with a Cali key, and it's so easy to do. Go to CaliKey.com. Future-proof your AR from all those horrible new laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can really afford. Go to kalikey.com. That's Kalikey, Kalikey.com. All right, hey, folks, this segment is brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego. Open 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to the Gun Range San Diego, the Gun Range San Diego. And when you get there, look for Casey. Casey will be more than happy to hook you up. They'll take care of anybody with any level of gun intelligence right there at the Gun Range San Diego. How's it going, Case?
Oh, we're doing pretty good out here, keeping busy. It's been a beautiful Sunday. A little hot outside, so, brings in a lot of people in the range. So keeping us busy, and we're having a great day with everybody in here.
Excellent. So what are we chatting about today?
Shotguns. We're going back to shotguns. I had Lance in here the other day. We're talking about different things for shotguns. Shotgun's an iconic weapon. Everybody loves them because, one, you get a big boom out of it and knocks the out of your shoulder, which is always fun. We like doing them. It's one of the most popular things on the range. People always ask, what's the biggest gun we can get? Well, I can give you a 12-gauge shotgun with some slugs in it, and we'll have fun with that. A lot of times people don't want to shoot all the rounds. But when it comes down to the sights of the firearm or the sights on the shotguns, it's pretty much three main, optics or iron sights on it. First one will be the front bead sight. Now, that's the one you'll find on the most, say, Mossberg 500s, 590s, for the most part, have a bead sight, which means there's no rear sight on it. Just at the end of the barrel, there's a little metal bead, and where that point is kind of just the generic area of where the rounds will impact. That's the cool thing about the shotgun is you can kind of point in the general vicinity, and if you're lucky, if you're using buckshot, one of the pellets will at least hit your intended target. The other one will be your ghost ring sights, and that'll be mostly on like the 590A1s, the Remington 870s. You can get them on the other Mossbergs. You just have to, add it on later. But the ghost ring sight's more like your traditional rifle sights you see nowadays, where you'll have a ring in the back and a front sight post. And usually on the ring, there'll be like two dots on the sides of it. They kind of make sure that you're not going to canting it to the left or the right. I prefer the ghost rings. I feel like for quick acquisition with the shotguns, those are the best ones you can get. The bead isn't bad also. It's just I like a little more precision. And then the third one will just be your normal optics, like a red dot or something like that. Now, to do that, like Lance Pelkey's, his 1014 that he has already has a rail on it. So he can put a red dot on there, and it'll be even quicker acquisition. It's just, what do you prefer? Me, I tend to prefer iron sights on it. I don't like my shotguns with red dots because, one, they're already heavy as it is. Shotguns aren't really known to be light firearms. They're rather heavy and bulky. But having the red dot on there is very, very beneficial just because most of the optics nowadays will have different reticles on it. So I was showing Lance the Hollow Suns, which is one that we always recommend just because it's bulletproof, shockproof. It's just not going to die on you. But they have a reticle on there that's just basically a big circle. Now, when it comes to the shotgun, that's pretty beneficial because you put that circle on your target, you will hit it. That's the cool part about it.
Yeah, but I think when people think about shooting a shotgun, they think about shooting, bird shot, target loads, and things like that. But the reality is, if you're shooting slugs or if you're, you're shooting the other stuff, you actually do aim the shotgun. You actually do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we have this conversation about sights and optics and stuff like that, it really does matter.
It does, yeah, absolutely. Now, when it comes to, if you're doing skeet shooting and stuff like that, red dot's not really the most optimal thing because you're doing really quick flashes on it. Same with bird guns. Most of the time, they'll just run with a front sight with, a fiber optic front sight so you can pick it up really quick. And with those ones, with the bird guns and the bird shot and target shots, you have a much wider spread. So as long as you get it in that general area, you'll usually hit your target. But when you're coming down to buckshot, if you're using double-out buck, you have 9 pellets in there.
Yeah.
If you don't exactly have your spot as close as you can to your point of aim, you still can miss with a shotgun. I've seen it all the time in here. And when it comes to slugs is just an ounce of lead going down range, so you get this big old lump of lead. So if you can't really point that in the general vicinity and expect to hit your target, that one you actually have to aim.
Yeah.
It really depends on your purpose of the firearms, and we always recommend people when it's kind of the misconception that people have. It's like, I'll just get a shotgun and rack it a couple times and they'll run off. I'm like, no. If you were using your firearm in self-defense, you better be ready to, take a life if it comes down to that. And that's the sad part about it when it comes to self-defense situations. You don't plan to just maim somebody or the big one is people like, I'll just shoot him in the leg. It's like, no. Like, if it's coming down to this and you're using your firearm in self-defense, you better be ready for it. And people always want to look, they're always like, oh, just get some birdshot in there. No, birdshot for self-defense is garbage.
Yeah.
Will it kill you?
It's an irritant.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if I'm, I've been hit with birdshot when I go out to Yuma doing the dove hunt and stuff. I'm like 80 yards away from a guy, 100 yards away, and we get peppered by it. And every once in a while, one of them might break the skin, but most of the time it just bounces off you and stings. Don't get me wrong. If the shotgun's within 5 feet of me, yes, it'll do catastrophic damage. That's just because it's right there. But buckshot is the most optimal round for that because, one, you get a little bit more distance on it, and two, it's going to cause catastrophic wound damage to the body.
Yeah.
Birdshot, it'll hurt. It'll hurt a lot.
And buckshot, of course, is the most lethal, more than a 9mm or a 45. I'll tell you, I was shooting about 25 rounds of buckshot today, about at 20 yards, and that I was really amazed on how tight those little 9 slugs went. And so I could really see that an optic does make a difference, or some kind of good sights, because when you're shooting it like that, you really do aim it. And versus birdshot, which would go all over the range.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people have that misconception that you don't need to aim a shotgun.
Right.
All you need to do is point and shoot, and that's such.
No.
You'll never hit anything.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's to a point. Yes, depending on what it is. Like, if you get it in the general vicinity, you'll be okay. But it really depends on the situation of it. Like, if I aim 5 feet left of the guy, no, I'm not going to hit him. You have to be aiming at the target.
Yeah.
Will every single pellet hit your target? No, they won't. Just because of how the spreading is with the wad in there, and it depends on the distance. Buckshot optimal is anywhere from 15 yards and closer. That's about a perfect spread. We're testing a lot of our ammo in there, and it also comes down to what type of buckshot you're using. But the range ammo we got Serum Bellet, and it works great. We were testing out 25 yards. At 25 yards, that we average around 6 pellets on the target and drop 3, sometimes 4 off of it. 10 yards, every single pellet will be in the 10 ring within, a 6 to 7 inch spread. 15 yards, you get maybe a foot spread, a little bit less.
Yeah.
And at 25, you do lose a couple pellets, but you still get good impact.
And again, we're talking mostly tactical here.
Exactly.
Right.
And in shotguns, you're not going to be pumping arounds at people, situation dictates, I guess, but
Zombies.
Optimal range for shotguns, zombies. 15 yards and closer. Shotguns are for up close and personal work. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Unless you're using slugs, but it really depends on what you need to use a slug for, unless if you have, say, 8.70 or whatever, you got 6+1 in there, have your last round of slug, because if it takes 5 rounds to put something else down and it's still not going down, well, I'm pretty sure a slug will do it.
And what do
slugs are for shooting 55-gallon drums.
Nice.
Casey,
slugs are for giving it to somebody you don't like and you want to, get a little revenge on them. They're like, oh, yeah, this doesn't kick too bad.
just to illustrate what you're saying about shotguns, yesterday we were at it was actually the first event for Riverside County gun owners, which just kicked off yesterday, and we introduced everybody to the new sheriff and everything. I met somebody there who was actually held hostage in 1980 at the Norco bank robbery. They actually, the 5 bank robbers hijacked or carjacked his van. They wanted to use his van to do that with. Held him out throughout the entire robbery, and the way he actually was able to survive, it was really terrifying. And he's actually got a book coming out, and we'll promote the book once it's out. But a sheriff's deputy, Riverside County sheriff's deputy, back in 1980, this bank robber was holding him from behind, holding the victim from behind, and the sheriff's deputy hit the hostage taker in the head with a shotgun, buckshot.
Whoa!
Double-aught buckshot. And that's something, if you watch a movie or if you listen to somebody that has no idea what they're talking about when it comes to shotguns, you would think that's impossible to do. But if you go to any respectable trainer or any respectable school that talks about, for shotguns, they actually teach you how to, be that precise with your shotgun, how to know your shotgun and your ammo.
It's called aiming.
Yeah. Well, and there is some technique, but absolutely.
Technique, yeah. I want to take a shotgun.
Absolutely. Like, there's everybody thinks that shotguns, it's going to do a match spread. No, like when you have the wads in there, depending on what rounds, it keeps it a tight spread. Absolutely. Would I, in a hostage, if I'm saying I'm held hostage, would I want somebody with a shotgun to take that shot? Preferably no. Because I'm kind of in that general vicinity too.
Yeah.
But hey, he made it work. And it all comes down to the situation. Just he probably had a split second to decide, and he did it, and he succeeded at it. Good on him.
So what is your choice of a good home defense, reasonably priced, non-tricked out, non-chrome, no exhaust pipes shotgun for home defense?
I like the 590s, the Mossberg 590s. They're lightweight. They're around $400, sometimes $399 to $400. You can get like models with butt stocks and pistol grips and stuff like that. You're fine. But honestly, it's a good base shotgun that you can customize down the road. I like Mossberg a little bit more than Remington's. Mossbergs have dual extractors on them, which just gives you a little bit more positive reinforcement when it comes to extracting the rounds out. Don't get me wrong, 870s excellent shotguns too. I just tend to prefer the Mossbergs. I feel like the slide itself, or the foregrip is a little bit tighter on it too, and I like where the safety placement is and the manual index. The Mossbergs have the safety on the top,
I love
my
that.
thumb can get it right off the bat. The 870s have it more of a pistol grip, or not necessarily pistol grip, but it's more like an AR button kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the manual index I like on the Mossberg, where it's right where my finger is. So if I need to change out a round or kick a round out, I can do it.
And I'd say,
without adjusting my grip.
again, folks, if you haven't bought a shotgun, go see Casey. If you have a shotgun, go bring it down to him. Talk about the sights.
Go shoot it. I'll bet you $20 you haven't shot it in a long time. Right?
Absolutely. We got plenty of shotgun rounds for people come shoot.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you very much, folks. That's Gun Sports, or San Diego County Gun. Oh.
The gun range San Diego.
There's too many guns things in here. Yeah, the gun range San Diego, folks. Take a run down there. In case you'll be there till midnight tonight. No, hold on.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.
You too, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. All right, folks, welcome back to listen to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170. We are The Answer. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapon for personal protection? Do you have or are you going to get a CCW? Well, if you're involved in an incident, what is your plan to pay back the bail and all those expensive lawyer fees? We'll talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection. For less than $10 a month, you will have a peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your family. That's Firearms Legal Protection. Go to www.firearmslegal.com or call 844-357-9400. That's 844-357-9400. All right, who's the special guest you have on the line there, sir?
It is Sam the Gunman, and we are ready for another edition of Stump My Nephew.
How you doing, Sam?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
How are the gun sales going, by the way, buddy?
Well, it's summer, and so it's not great because summer is sort of a doing season, and the other three are acquiring seasons, and everyone's on vacation anyway. But not bad.
Not bad. Good.
Hey, anytime you can hang out with guns, how bad a day could that be?
That's right.
All right. So, as everybody knows, somebody who writes in, if we use your question, if you email us, either San Diego County Gun Owners or Gun Sports Radio, if we use your question, you get a free T-shirt. And if you stump Sam, my nephew, if you stump him, we'll throw in a hat. That's
Ooh,
yeah. How about that?
Shirt and a hat.
So far,
you're pretty confident, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now you're giving away all the swag because nobody can stump this kid. I see how you're rolling.
Well, I was going to say very few people have been able to stump him. Do you remember your record off the top of your head, Sam?
2 or 3.
No, I've sort of stopped counting.
You've only got stumped 2 or 3 times. You haven't been
Arrogance.
stumped more than that. I've been keeping track.
All right, Uncle Mike, let's have the question.
All right, here we go. Enough build up. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Casey actually started talking about it. I didn't expect him to go over it a little bit, but he covered a little bit of it when he was talking about shotguns. But the question is from Mara in San Diego. Mara wants to know. He talked about ghost ring sites. Mara wants to know why are they called ghost ring sites? She wants to know, how did they get the name ghost ring? Why ghost ring?
Now, this might be completely off, so let me know. But as I understand it, they're called ghost ring sights because, well, for those of you who don't know, first of all, your rear sight is
a big circle. That's the ring, and then your front sight is like a pretty typical blade. And the idea is that, as I understand it, the reason they're called ghost ring sights is that the ring at the back sort of partway disappears when you're looking through it, or it's supposed to.
Okay, and guess what? You are correct.
You know how hard I had to look for this answer?
Well, if you just looked through shotgun sights, then it would come right to you.
Well, it'd come right to you. Yeah, I hear you.
I see how we're rolling now.
Okay.
I had to look for this answer so hard, but you're absolutely right. That's the idea, is that the ghost or the ring, if you're using it right.
I was going to say, if you're using it right, it goes away.
It just ghosts away. So that's the idea. And I guess, Sam, the deal with ghost ring sights is you look through the aperture, the ring at the back there, and your eye automatically centers anything in the ring, right? And so when you're looking at the post,
the way the eye and the brain work together, it's really a fascinating thing. Your brain does a lot of stuff without you realizing it. It does a lot of back end processing, and part of that is that it's really, really good at finding the center of a circle.
So that the post or the blade at the end of your barrel, when your eye looks through this ring, your brain automatically centers it, which is
interesting.
Which is why it works so well.
And if it doesn't, we have a great doctor for you. It'll help get you centered.
Exactly.
Wow. So Sam, do you fire a shotgun? Do you own a shotgun?
Yeah, I do. I don't go shotgun shooting too often, but I do enjoy it.
What's your favorite shotgun?
I mean, what I have is I've got a little break action 410, and I've got a pump. I think it's a 20 gauge. But my favorite that I've shot is my father's Browning Satori, an over and under. It's really, really nice.
Nice. Yeah, we were just talking coming up. Lance and I were just talking because, Lance, you just got a cool new boomstick, didn't you?
Yeah, that Benelli M1014. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have any of those in the shop?
No, that's not really something people just sort of buy because they see it. That's something where you know you want it and you save up for a year to get it.
Yeah, you do. And it is awesome. It's worth every bit of that year.
But what I was saying is, so everybody goes out and gets a pistol. That's most people's first gun. Or, everybody, if you're a gun owner, yeah, you probably have a pistol. That's understandable. It's affordable. It's arguably the most, especially for home defense, that sort of thing. It's very, very useful. I get it. And then a lot of people, if you want to be, cool, you go out and get an AR. I mean, everybody and their brother owns an AR. But I got to tell you, people that know what they're doing when it comes to, and I'm talking about home defense, and when you're talking about preparing for an earthquake or something like that, a shotgun is so useful. Mm-hmm. People that know what they're talking about, know what they're doing, they get familiar with and learn how to use a shotgun.
Right.
They're incredibly versatile. I don't think anyone can name another firearm that you can get at any gun shop for $600 or less, where you can fire one round of non-lethal, one round that can take out a bird, and then one round that can punch through a wall and kill the person on the other side, all in rapid succession like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely so correct. Yeah. Well, for my home defense, I bought a 9mm Smith & Wesson, and I bought a Mossberg 500.
Yep.
There you go. And do you have ghost ring sights on it?
Yes, I do. So there.
Does the ring ghost?
I don't know. I'm going to go look tonight.
Now you got to go check it out.
Right? I'm going to see if that little rascal ghosts out on me. And if it's not, then I'm going to go down to Gun Range San Diego and get trained.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, hey, that's always a blast talking to you, my friend. Nice job again.
Well, thanks for having me on.
So Mara gets a shirt, but she doesn't get a hat.
That's right. Why? She didn't. He guessed it.
That's what I mean. She does not get a hat.
Oh,
she
does not.
Get she gets a shirt because we used her question.
Oh, I got you.
She does not get a hat because she didn't stump my nephew.
Yeah, you're hanging on to those hats.
That's right.
All right, buddy. You take care. Thanks again.
High point of my week.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It's ours as well, my friend.
Nice work.
It is ours as well. All right.
You guys have a good night.
You too, buddy. All right, so tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock, be there, be square.
Yeah, speaking of Mara, that's Mara Elliott, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if she was the one that wrote the question.
Right.
Hey,
She needs to write some questions about firearms because she doesn't have any idea what she's talking about.
She ever shot a firearm, you think, at all?
She's far better at restricting them than she is using them
or attempting to restrict them.
So talk about our meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, City Hall, San Diego. So Mara Elliott is the city attorney. She's not the district attorney, and she's certainly not on the city council. She's the city attorney. And the city attorney's job is to be the attorney for the city council. But she's decided that she wants to be a legislator. So she is pushing for this safe, quote-unquote, firearms storage law that they're going to vote on. So we need everybody listening to come down 2 o'clock tomorrow at City Hall. And basically, say your piece. Everybody will get a chance, at least 1 minute, probably 2, to say, hey, this is who I am. I'm a gun owner, and I do not want this to pass. I live in San Diego. And you need to tell them why, it matters to you and who you are. And we need to overwhelm them and make them understand that, one, we're watching. People are engaged. If this thing had passed 4 years ago, if it was proposed 4 years ago before San Diego County gun owners, it would have just gone through.
Yeah. Nobody would even have known.
Nobody would have known. No opposition. So we need to oppose this stuff. And then come election time, we need to vote the people out who supported
quickly
this thing. And that's
possible.
her. Yeah.
All right. Hey, we want to thank our show sponsors, the San Diego County Gun Owners. Go to their website, the San Diego County Gun Owners.com. $10 a month. You could be totally informed and probably have more fun than you can imagine. The Gun Range San Diego. Go to their website, thegunrangesandiego.com. Take classes, go rent guns, take your friends and family, have fun. CAFirearmslaw.com. That's John Dillon at Gatsky, Dillon and Balance, LLP. Hopefully you never get into a situation where you need him, but if you do, you'd rather have him than not. Firearmslegal.com. That's firearms legal protection for $10 a month. Less than. How could you beat that? Cali Key, to keep your ARs all compliant. That's CaliKey.com, Kalikey. And I want to thank Lance, Michael Schwartz, Casey, John Dillon, and Brendan, our board op. He's not in today. We have a new board op right now, and I didn't catch his name, but we appreciate. That's Thomas. He's a big Padre fan. He's got Padre gear all over the place. Probably wanted to play baseball. All right, we're going to take we're not going to take a quick break. We're out of here till next week. Don't forget to check us out on KCBQ AM 1170, The Answer.